What it do, y'all? We back with another episode of WWX. It's your boy, the franchise kid, franchise Jerry.
Think I need to feed you water? You know what the fuck it is.
And we're going to be talking about the last Smackdown of 2022. The last Smackdown of the year started off with Bray Wyatt and his cool-ass intro music. We haven't seen him since he beat up all the WWE staff members. And before he can even get out words, he was interrupted by, lame-ass LA Knight. He still don't believe that Bray Wyatt isn't Uncle Howdy. Like, he swears that Bray Wyatt is Uncle Howdy no matter how many times he sees the nigga in person. So right after that, we get an appearance from Uncle Howdy. And Uncle Howdy comes down to the ring and we thinking everything is about to be sweet. And out of nowhere, he's Sister Abigail's Bray Wyatt. That was like the craziest part of the entire skit because everybody was not expecting that. I think this adds back onto my theory from the last podcast that Uncle Howdy is trying to bring the Fiend out. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to keep doing all this little random shit to Bray Wyatt to try to push him to the dark side. So that way he just goes crazy and then one day we just see the Fiend again. With that being said, bro, how would you feel about the Fiend returning back to SmackDown?
Honestly, I don't care for the Fiend character. I like Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse because of all the intricacies and the little puppets, and I get to see more personality of him and like Maui Wowie and shit like that. Like, I'm a silly person in that aspect, so I like shit like that. But the Fiend shit, I'm not fucking with like that. But to touch on the LA Knight and Bray Wyatt Uncle Howdy segment, I really liked that Uncle Howdy came out and he removed the fat suit. He looked more like an actual superstar of some sort, not just like a mythological entity that just appeared from the figment of Bray Wyatt's imagination. I like that Bray Wyatt is not in control. And this leads me to believe, or leads me to further prove my point, that I think LA Knight's going to win this first encounter with him because Bray doesn't have a full control over his mental capacity.
Yeah.
Because if he swore Uncle Howdy was on his side, you see how confident he stood next to him, for him only to be Sister Abigail, and LA Knight completely confused. And LA Knight's not scared. He's literally genuinely concerned. Because if he's like, this motherfucker keeps kidnapping me, this motherfucker saying it's not him, I thought it was him, but he just got hit by him. Did they set that shit up? Let me just get away from the ring in general. Let me just pack away.
He looks scared.
And he is looking like he's assessing the situation, and he's gonna be ready. He gotta mentally prepare himself for this pitch black match that we also found out they're gonna have at the Royal Rumble coming up January 28th. So make sure you get the Peacock app so you can definitely be tuned in for that. Like I said, bro, and if what you're saying is true, is another reason why I think Bray Wyatt will lose. How is Uncle Howdy gonna prove that he needs a Fiend if he's winning?
He'll lose the battle, but he'll win the war. That's why we know where this story goes. And that's what Bray Wyatt was talking about a couple shows ago. All right, man, I could have been finished you because we know how this story goes, but I try to give you the benefit of the doubt and let your weird ass slide. But now I can't let you vibe out like that, buddy. So, yeah, man, I'm excited for the match at Royal Rumble. I just also have to add it. I don't like that they're having a match at Royal Rumble. I want to see them in the Royal Rumble match. So, hopefully they're still involved in the Royal Rumble match at some point. That'll be cool.
The next segment on SmackDown was Sami Zayn walking to the Bloodline's locker room. Now, this was a normal Sami walk to the locker room, had a lot of cheer. You could see the joy in his spirit, like, I'm about to go hang with my bros. But it was a little odd because usually when we see the scenes, he's already in the locker room. So I thought it was kind of weird how he was isolated and had to they even filmed him approaching the door. Once he knocked on the door and was opened and addressed by Paul Heyman, he was expecting just to walk in. Said, whoa, the tribal chief's not all the way there ready for you. And I thought that told a lot because usually I'm pretty sure the tribal chief knows Sami's on his way. The tribal chief knows Sami was going to be at that door. So that's kind of odd. I know that would raise some flags in Sami's head, like what's going on. That leads into my next point. Paul Heyman addressed Sami's promo last week. And even though it was very convicted, Roman loved it, he wasn't pleased that everyone was chanting, Sami, Sami, Sami. That's not the bloodline.
So you feel like Sami Zayn is outshining the bloodline, is what you're saying, and Roman ain't rocking with that.
I wouldn't say that, but I feel like Paul Heyman was trying to feel Sami out because he is the wise man, and he may have been around to hear some disgruntledness from Roman concerning that. and he's just trying to see where Sammy's head's at. So Sammy's answer or his behavior or his reaction was actually very important in the scene because he looked concerned, which he should be. And all the times concerning Tribal Chief, especially how Sammy's kind of walking on eggshells right now. He needs to prove more than ever that he's fully aligned with the bloodline. So this segment was it was a quick, I want to say 5-minute segment, but it told a whole story. Overall, I felt this interaction between Sammy and Paul Heyman was very rocky. And how do you feel about it?
I honestly didn't really think much of it, but I thought it was weird how Paul Heyman looked at him at the end of the segment. Like, we plotting on you, but we not really plotting on you, but we just waiting for you to show out first type shit. That's what the looks drove me to think.
I completely agree with you, bro. The bloodline business wasn't done there. Solo Sikoa ended up taking on a former World Heavyweight Champion in Sheamus, and this was a great match. And I think this was a great way for him to end his 2022. He literally stamped himself as he's going to be a breakout star in 2023. Solo, I'm here to say you are showing me, as someone who wasn't a fan of you on NXT, for you to come up to the main roster, put on these good matches. You're selling your family's history and lineages. So I'm just like, he has to have a title this year, bro. He has to. He beat a former World Heavyweight Champion not even the new year. So that his whole new year is set up, bro.
Yeah, I just also thought it was weird how they took the North American Championship away from him, bro, and never gave him an opportunity to get it back. I
They
thought
just
that
wrote it
was lame
off.
as fuck. But if I'm being honest about the match, it looked staged. Like, it looked like Sheamus was like, okay, nigga hit me with a Samoan spike. I should just take it now. And, bro, it's 2023. The Samoan spike isn't as believable of a finisher as it was back in '09. And everyone in the bloodline got their own shit. You know what I'm saying? So they don't wrestle like nobody but themselves. I get that Solo's the second coming of Umaga, but he's still got to have some type of originality, and he's got to come up with his own finisher. He can't just be trying to live off the Samoan spike. Like, that shit just, not gonna lie. As a finisher, that shit is lame. As like a signature move on like some cool shit or a once in a while shout out move like a frog splash or something like how Rey Mysterio do for Eddie and whatnot, that's cool. But if you're trying to finish matches off like that now, that shit is just kind of lame. What do you think about his moveset overall, though?
Solo has the ability to hit you with moves that you don't think he can do. Like if you throw him into the ropes and he hits you with a spinning heel kick, you're not expecting that from someone that's 300 pounds, damn near. It also goes into what you were saying about him having originality in his moveset, needing to have more. Because when he hits the spinning solo, I like that it's spinning and it's like, God, I've never seen that before. Like you always have said, and that stamps it as that's something you put on that move. That's
Yeah,
your take of the move. But I like him doing Simone Spike because that's like his secondary finisher. And how you said it could be a shout out. Like imagine him winning that first real title on the main roster, doing that move. And I get that you're saying that it
that'd be
doesn't,
so whack if he does that.
but I don't see it like that because if someone throws a spike into your throat right now, that will finish you. That will really
I'm
stop your
kicking
breathing.
out.
How? What if you can't? What if you're not focused on trying to pin? You can't be trying to fucking
Because he didn't
breathe.
hit me in my head. You hit me in my throat. And if you lay on top of me, you're applying pressure on me that's going to make me want to get you the fuck off me. So I'm kicking out. Any normal person off the fucking street that's not scripted in WWE is kicking out. That's why I said this match looked fucking staged. Literally hit him with he didn't even hit Sheamus hard with the Samoan spike. He hit him pretty gingerly, if we're being honest. Come on, bro. We're talking about Sheamus.
Yeah.
Sheamus has been through it all in fucking WWE. And for him to lose with a fucking bitch ass thumb to the throat is like, come on, bro.
You got to put over the
Come
young
on, bro.
superstars, man.
Exactly. That's why I was like, this shit looks staged. So, Solo, you need to come up with your own shit, bro. I don't care if you're trying to shout out your uncle, your cousin. I don't give a fuck. Come up with your own shit, bro. That shit is whack. It's 2023. I mean, I can't even really say that because the Usos do the 1D. But even the Usos still got their own type of finisher where they both go ring to ring and do their frog splash on you. They still got their own shit at some point. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll do the double super kick or something like Solo. Nah, bro. We just not doing that, man. I don't believe that shit. Maybe if he did it to a weaker nigga, like I would understand, like, oh yeah, that Samoan Spike really did him bad. But bro, you did it to Sheamus. Sheamus is like one of the toughest fucking wrestlers on both rosters. Are you kidding me?
And that's what they're trying to show you. He put him down with that. So that's
That's
how
why
they're trying to
that I
build
don't
that
fuck
move.
with that because that's cap. That's cap.
Yeah, it's in the regular book. Who got the dub? Solo. We the ones, man. Just mail me that honorary ooze shirt already, guys. You guys see where my allegiance lies. Fuck around, kick Sammy out, put Cam in.
Bro, I fuck with the bloodline, but I don't fuck with Cap. I don't fuck with Cap, bro. I didn't believe that shit at all. Like,
They're not the ones.
no, Solo is not beating niggas with a Samoan spike.
Well, moving right along to the next staged act, Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey. Now, this match was to look staged because, for one, Raquel is not competing with Ronda on no type of fighting combat sport. I don't give a fuck how strong she is. For her to have this match and for it to look as good as it did, like she could actually put up a fight, like, oh my god, like I have this one bird arm and I have one strong ass arm and I got muscles in my back and I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna overcome Ronda Rousey. It doesn't matter that she's a former UFC champ. I'm just gonna beat her and I'm gonna do it for my people and me. I'm like, you are not gonna beat this bitch, and you need to realize that. And I'm sorry that WWE chose this moment to make you shine and actually have a good presentation on the main roster. But I did not think you were going to win. This whole build to you getting this championship was rushed. And I can tell they rushed this match for what led after this match. But overall, Raquel, I think you need to stay off the screen and you need to talk to the writer and say, stop putting me in fake best friend angles. You're making me weird. Let me be myself. Focus on what I need to focus on to build my character. My dad's a former wrestler who's very well known and has established himself. Maybe you think you should try to lean towards that lineage or try to do something along those lines, because whatever this shit they got you going on with here is weird as fuck. And every time you're on the screen, I can't wait till you're off. What about you?
And if we being honest, I enjoyed the match. Ronda won this match as we predicted, yet it was still very competitive and physical. You know what I'm saying? But I think really this match highlighted how far Ronda's really come in the business. You know what I'm saying? Because I think back to her first match when she was beating up Triple H. I was thinking back to how she used to have to really pull her punches and used to have to lighten up on certain wrestling moves. You know what I'm saying? So watching this whole match, I was just thinking the whole time how proud I am of how far she's come to WWE and how great of a transition she's made from the UFC. She just looks so much more comfortable now, you know what I'm saying? And she just seems more confident in the ring. So I was really hyped to see her growth overall. She's a wrestling machine nowadays, and she showed it in this match. She put fucking Raquel in damn near every submission you could think of, and that's even how she won the match, via submission. I'm just watching it. I'm like, yo, like old Ronda, like when she first started, was not doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Or she was always talking shit, but like how confident she looks as she's doing these moves just makes me more hyped on her as a competitor. Right after that match, and I mean right after that match, Charlotte Flair comes back to WWE out of nowhere. And we haven't seen her since she lost her I Quit match to Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania Backlash in May, right? Charlotte announced that she will be facing Ronda that night for the WWE Women's Championship. And right after that, the match started immediately. And I was not expecting that shit. I was like, yo, this is okay. We doing this? We getting this. Okay, okay. And obviously, Ronda was with all the bullshit. This match left me speechless at the end, though, because I was the whole time watching. I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? This shit is crazy. Charlotte's back, and not only that, but she's kind of dominating. I mean, she set the tone with a huge boot at the beginning of the match. Charlotte reversed Ronda's armbar and got a 3 count to be the new WWE Women's Smackdown champion and to also be a 14-time women's champion. This was historical, and even though this was random, and she probably isn't as deserving as other women in the back, this was overall still best for business, and now we get one of the greatest women's feuds in all of WWE history, and that's Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, because you know Ronda's coming back for that shit. This will not be the last time we see them. What did you think about the Queen's return, bro?
Charlotte's a generational talent, bro. So anytime that you do see her on the screen, or we know that she's gonna go on a run, we gotta appreciate it to some degree, even though we kind of take it for granted because it's kind of like been played out, like you said, 14 times. So because it's 14 times, we're not going to get the longest possible Charlotte we would actually get, because she's going to feel burnt out and WWE's going to be like, well, we can't run this old gimmick, for this long. That's why I feel like she came back with this repackage, which I was hyped on. Tyre is cool. Not really a fan of the music. I don't know what the remix vibe is for, but I do like that you are setting the tone with Ronda Rousey. The only problem I had with the match was I felt like it should have been more definitive. Like make Ronda tap out, or actually like hit her with the natural selection. 1, 2, 3. It's like, oh wow, it's a shock, but not a roll through surprise roll up, because I feel like that devalues the championship in a sense. Because like Ronda just went through this grueling match, made this bitch tap out, just for her to lose by a roll up. And I'm worried to see how she's gonna react and bounce back from this, because the fans been giving her a hard time.
Now, I almost want to agree with you, bro, but I love how this match ended because it made sense. Raquel gave that bitch all that she could handle and then some. And then out of nowhere, you have to deal with the freshly charged up Charlotte Flair. Now, again, remember who we talking about. Charlotte Flair. You know what I'm saying? She's a technical wrestler. She's one of the dirtiest players in the game, like her dad. All that cool shit. She was taught by the best. All that, right? So, of course, she's going to beat Ronda like that. Ronda was obviously overzealous, which we've seen her in other matches, which we've seen Ronda lose like that before. And sometimes, with Ronda being who she is, that's the only believable way we can see someone beating her, is if someone does a quick roll up, because you're not about to go out there and dominate Ronda. You're not about to be slamming her all over the place and making her tap out and hoeing her. No, you're not. No, it's like Brock Lesnar. You're not about to be doing that. That's Charlotte Flair. It just makes sense that the match would end like that. Overall, bro, I really like how this match ended. I like that Charlotte's back in WWE, and I love even more that she has a title and she's added more prestige to her career, being the 14-time women's champion. And at this pace, she's going to pass her dad, no doubt. She might even be 20-time women's champion by the time this shit is all said and done.
Yeah, because she's not a junkie.
Right.
Switching gears, follow up on the previous Bloodline segment. Bloodline was filmed backstage, all in the locker room at once, going over the game plan for tonight versus KO and John Cena. Now, this was a very telling sight, because it featured, you could say, Sammy and Roman were sitting the distance me and him are sitting away from each other right now, and it was Jimmy, Jay, and Solo standing in the corner, and the wise man to the right of Jay. It was going all good. It was smiles. It was great until Sammy decided to bring up what Paul Heyman brought to his attention earlier. He asked Roman, "Did you mind when the crowd chanted Sammy after I delivered that great promo?" Now, everybody in the room, when he even starts to ask the question, doesn't even get the full sentence out. You see Jimmy, his dog. You see Jay. You see Solo. You see Wise Man. And then you see the tribal chief, like, and then Roman with the straightest face that transitions to a nice even keel. No, Sammy, not at all. That doesn't matter. Like, how could anyone take anything away from that promo? You sounded so vindicated and had so much conviction behind your words. That's all we should be focused on. So, within that alone, even though Roman told him it was cool, like I said, he had that even keel demeanor, but the eyes told it all. He told him in his eyes, "I'm watching you. And you're picking up on shit that you're fucking up. Stop playing, Sammy. It's time to focus." What do you think about that scene?
I just think it's funny how bothered Roman Reigns is by every little thing that Sammy does instead of focusing on opponents. That tells you where Roman Reigns is at in his career. He done ran through so many motherfuckers that he don't even have time to worry about who's coming after him anymore. He's just focusing on who's in his group. And I feel like he's putting too much thought and focus in on Sammy because it's clear that Sammy just wants to be down. I feel like Roman needs to focus more on his next opponents than he is Sami Zayn. And if anything, he should continue to just keep trying to be cool with Sami Zayn, bring him closer and all that. So that way Sammy can continue to have your back because there's talks that he might be dropping one of them belts before WrestleMania. So if Roman's focus ain't up, he can find himself having one belt or no belts. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I really hope that the Bloodline don't turn on Sammy, and I hope that Sammy don't turn on them, and this can just end with Sammy getting a belt and going off and doing his own thing, and the Bloodline going off and doing their own thing. But I do have to be honest with y'all. I know that this shit isn't going to end nicely. It's got to go with somebody turning on somebody. And I don't necessarily think it's going to be Sammy turning on the Bloodline. And I don't necessarily think that it's going to be the Usos turning on Sammy. I think it's going to be the Usos turning on Roman. Because look, let's think about how the Bloodline was started. Now, the real fans know in the last podcast that I've been talking about this. The Bloodline was started off of Roman bullying them niggas into the Bloodline. They only fucking with you because they were getting beat up by you. They little brothers with them now. The whole Bloodline could turn on Roman Reigns. Or remember when you was doing us bogus and shit and you had me in there crying and hell in the cell? All that shit. Yeah, nigga, nah, we back. So I can see the Usos stepping on Roman towards WrestleMania.
The following segment on SmackDown was Imperium coming to the ring and Dick riding Gunther to the max. What made him say
without a license?
Without a license, heavy on the road, but but they illegal. It's kind of crazy when you think about it because they showed a whole video package and they're just hyping him up. There's nobody else. There's nobody else. And in my head, I'm like, I know Braun Strowman's gonna come out because you keep running from him, bro. And I'm like, honestly, I don't think Braun's gonna come out on top of this because I can't lie. Gunther does provide a certain type of prestige to this IC title and this reign in itself. He's already surpassed 200 days. And I know WWE has this thing where they like to highlight your shit then fuck you over, but I feel like they wouldn't do that with Braun because Braun is like he's an attraction, but he's a very usable, easy to get rid of and get tired of attraction. So he's like reliable to switch something up, bring some excitement to something because he can lift something that's extra heavy. He can break some shit that why did he break that? He's just a man. Like or some shit like that. But he's not really that vast of a character that you really want to be like, damn, I just fuck with his vibe, bro. Like he's just hey, he fucks shit up. But I don't think he's gonna fuck this up because honestly, Gunther is having a good reign, and this is his first reign, and it's over 200 days. He's gonna. I see this being almost a year, if anything, and I feel like it has to be either like somebody they really want to build, like oh you beat him, or like someone who's a former champ, but like not as goofy as Braun Strowman, because this man wears fucking red skinny jeans, and he's supposed to be a fucking monster.
That brings me back to my point. Now, look, if Sammy play his cards right, and if Roman stop being on bullshit, and the Bloodline really get focused, Sammy can win himself a fucking belt, and he can win the IC belt. And they have Elimination Chamber coming up soon, and for the first time ever, the IC belt is going to be defended at Elimination Chamber. So if Sammy can work his way into that match, and the Bloodline can help him win that match,
That'd be great.
boom, bada bing, bada boom.
That's what I see because Sammy is very believable. Someone I can see beating him because bloodline, like I said, and not even that. Sammy's a good technical wrestler in himself. So
and they always got the Bloodline beating people, so the Bloodline could easily beat up Imperium, get them out the way, and Solo can help Sammy with Gunther, and boom, win the match.
Definitely.
Let's get it. Let's go. I was like, yes, finally, this is what I've been wanting to see from Braun Strowman. Because if it ain't about a motherfucking title for you, you shouldn't be involved, bro. You're just too big and you want to be scary. You're already, making an uphill battle for yourself with your ring attire. You need to be focused on fucking titles, bro. And what better person to go and take a title off of than Gunther? That'll really give Braun Strowman a lot of respect. Him defeating Gunther and becoming the IC champ. There's nobody else that I want to see go against Gunther right now, though. Because Braun Strowman is honestly the perfect opponent to take it away from him and the most believable opponent. I don't think Braun Strowman is going to out wrestle him. I'll say that.
No way.
But I think Braun Strowman
He's going to bully him.
Will manhandle him and make him give that shit up.
Yeah, because he's just a brute force, like I said earlier.
And nobody's ever done Gunther the way
Braun would do him, but
exactly.
Yeah, that's a fair point, my friend. That's a fair point. We look forward to seeing their match in 2 weeks on SmackDown. Also, I want to mention how Ricochet came out and assisted Braun Strowman as he was getting his ass whipped by Imperium. And I thought it was funny how he hit the 2 henchmen with the fucking steel chair, but he hit Gunther with this amazing ricocheting back to the head steel chair shot that left Gunther laid out. We didn't see him no more rest of the show. I kept looking to see from the camera angle of the opposing side of the ring to see if he would rise again or do anything, and all we see is the X's being thrown and the trainers come help him. And that's like the second week. I think low-key Ricochet had some bad blood about how Ludwig got him last week and busted him open, left him look like a potato, as he mentioned.
Did you see it? Bro, he hit Buddy right in the back of the temple, crazy with the end of the chair. Like
he didn't get back up, so that's gonna be good.
Ricochet was out there on a mission with them chair shots.
I'm gonna get my lick back. I thought that was a good secondary way to like captivate us, you know what I'm saying? Because coming up next was the main event.
Yes, sir.
And you know what time it was. It was a very Cena-ish time, if you know what we mean, you know what I'm saying? We had a lot of floating dad hats, armbands, and whatnot coming through. Had amazing pop. It was Kevin Owens and John Cena taking on Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. And this was one of the greatest moments of 2022. Like, every time we see John Cena in the ring now, we truly have to appreciate it because that's a man I grew up in wrestling, watching him. Like, he was the best. Like, my favorite year of wrestling, he dominated. 2007, not a pay-per-view. I feel like that is the year he really defined himself as Big Match John, because 2005 to 2006, they weren't really like, they were like saying he's a fluke. He's just in for the in crowd now. This rap hip hop shit is just, it's just what's in right now. Vince is just using him. And he said, oh yeah, switch it up. I'm a Marine pussy nigga. And I'm about to win all this shit. I'm about to dedicate this shit to the people overseas. I'm about to be calling Osama bin Laden like I did that shit. You gonna see the change, man. So anytime you see John on the screen, you guys gotta, it's not Peacemaker. This is the real nigga, man. This is the real nigga, man. The match was cool as fuck because they didn't let John in that bitch. They really seized and made him feel special because KO was getting his ass with the majority of the match. It wasn't until John Cena got that hot tag, and then the momentum shifted. But I'm gonna kick it to him and let him talk and tell you how he saw it.
Bro, like you said, at this point, anytime we see John Cena in a WWE ring, in wrestling in general, we just gotta appreciate it because we don't know when he's gonna ever really wrestle again. You know what I'm saying? And even though he barely wrestled this match and wasn't let in for obvious purposes and reasons, it was still a great match. You know what I'm saying? And a great way to end the year. KO and John Cena hit the 5 moves of doom on Roman and Sami. And I thought the craziest part of the match was Roman really letting John Cena FU him. I didn't think that was going to happen to Roman. I thought Sami was for sure catching the FU. But Roman said, nah, I'll take it. I'm like, okay, all right, this shit is lit. You know what I'm saying? I was really geeked. You know what I'm saying? I was not expecting that at all. I was expecting them to hold John and them being WWE and put Roman and Sami over. I'm extremely happy it didn't work out like that, and instead it went the other way we predicted it would possibly go, and that's with Sami taking the pin. I did think it was crazy how KO was getting beat up. He got him a good one in though. Like he got hit in the eye real crazy, bro, and that shit started swelling up and bleeding mid match. I was like, "Ooh, shit, KO, y'all need
I'm
to
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
throw up the X on his ass." That shit was brutal.
KO always get his ass whipped. I fuck with KO.
He low key be deserving,
but I love seeing him getting his ass whipped because it just looked too like he's an asshole, bro. And he has a
and he thinking he can stunner everybody now.
He think he can stunner everybody, and he's very like he just has a demeanor sometimes. Like when KO's a heel, like oh my god, he's fucking bearable. You're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, but he's a good heel.
He's a great heel though.
He's a good heel. I'm glad and KO got the dub overall, man. I wonder what's next for these competitors though. Like I told you guys earlier in the show, there's rumbles that Roman might be losing one of his belts. And that could also come from John. Maybe John wins his 17th. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
That'd be interesting.
I also wonder if Sammy's going to get any kind of fucking belt, bro. He's got to take advantage of this bloodline shit as soon as possible before they turn on him or they turn on Roman or however this shit is going to play out. And I thought that was the whole reason why he joined the bloodline in the first place. Before he joined the bloodline, he was talking about how it was a conspiracy, how he couldn't win the IC title any fucking more. Now that you're in the bloodline, bro, you can go and get your title. What are you doing? What's going on with that? He used to be obsessed with the IC title. And that also brings me to Kevin Owens. Now that you got a win over Roman Reigns, what's next for you, bro? Are you going to still keep feuding with Roman Reigns? Or are you going to try to win the Royal Rumble and go after him that way? What's next for KO? What do you think is next for KO?
Honestly, I think KO is headed to the Royal Rumble to face Roman Reigns. Like he seems like they've been shaping up this program for some time. Roman doesn't usually just do championship matches on SmackDown unless you're a pain in his ass and he has to make a statement. And he's not really trying to fight KO, but seeing as how they just won this match, it's gonna make KO be like, I have a win technically over the Tribal Chief. So what the fuck is up, Roman? And then that's what leads into my next thing. I feel like you're gonna prove yourself in that moment, but remember you lost this match because I'm not like him. I think the Bloodline's gonna turn on you, and they're gonna hoe you. So you need to just make sure you got your head on a swivel. There's a reason why it gets silent when you and him just talking. Notice that? Remember it used to be like that for Jay? And he ain't even making an example out of you. So why do you think that is? And you didn't win this match? Tribal Chief is not happy with you, bro.
That's crazy though, because it's kind of Roman's fault. Like I mentioned earlier, he let John hit him with the AA. How you let John hit you with the AA? Did you see John Cena's bald spot?
Because it's written like that.
Nah, there you go.
It's written like that. You see that bald spot is exposing. He's old. Roman said, let me play. Let me do my thing, bro. Come on. Roman said, I got you. John was like, come on, you gonna let me? You know I'm not off these roids no more. I'm skinny and shit, dog. You know I can't even I'm really gonna be in a match for like 5 minutes. You can't let me hit the move one time?
Damn.
Come on, man. You know just one match. I'm gonna go back to HBO Max like it's nothing. Yeah, I'm not even gonna get the 1, 2, 3. Just let me hit the move.
Bro, you Kofi, bro. Nah.
And Roman says, acknowledge me. Bro. And he acknowledged him. He said that's why he let him hit it to FU. He's like, yeah, you acknowledge me. You know what time it is, nigga.
Never.
You out of here. Bro. That's the only way that shit went out.
Bro, John Cena used to have to teach Roman how to cut promos on national television, okay?
And look what is going down now. John
Cena hitting him with that AA to end the last show of SmackDown.
Who won SummerSlam 2021 though? Who had to acknowledge who?
Bro, who's the 16-time motherfucking
Who
champ?
is the longest reigning WWE World Champion in the last however long?
It's written like that.
Oh, okay. So it's written like that for John. It's written like that for Roman.
Because he should have lost to Seth. But instead, he choked Seth out. Seth Rollins technically still has a win over Roman Reigns. But let's not talk about that. That's the only win. That's the only loss that Roman Reigns actually suffered throughout this entire tribal chief bullshit. And he choked out Seth because he didn't want that straight up fade. Because he knew that would have gave Seth an opportunity for real to get a WWE title match. And you can say it's written like that, whatever you want.
Seth Rollins is up and doesn't like when the catchphrase is used on them. It's okay, bro.
Hey man, you use it on me.
It's a
I use it on you. It's cool.
It's a safe
Why are you
place.
trying to use my finisher move on me, man?
Because it's a safe place, bro. Just like you want to talk about Seth Rollins, he's the master. He's a master architect, right? He got the game plan, right? I'm in your head. Yeah, all that shit over there.
That nigga, bro.
That nigga needs
He's the only one that can do this and start a whole crowd.
Chris Jericho could just start a whole
crowd.
Hell
no. They gotta cue his ring music. Chris Jericho is not that cool. Seth Rollins just do this, and they get to and he do his little freaky nigga dance. Nigga, Roman could never do that.
Roman don't need to because he's acknowledged.
No, nobody acknowledges him but his family. That's why they gonna turn on him. Because they like, nigga, you force us to acknowledge you.
Look,
nobody else acknowledges Roman. He's just on television and on social media. So we see him. But if we wasn't in person with this nigga, I guarantee you a Roman Reigns fan, he not about to be like, I acknowledge you, Tribal Chief. Can you sign my shit? Like, no, it's not going down like that. A real nigga is not coming up to Roman and talking about, hey man, I really acknowledge you. Can you sign? Come on now. Stop playing.
But that was a great episode of SmackDown. Overall, I give this an 8 out of 10. And actually, I wouldn't even say that. This is a 10 out of 10. John Cena is on this motherfucker, man. He ended on this show with a bang. Which is a rarity. You probably would never hear me say 10 out of 10 again. But like I said, we got to appreciate every time John's on the screen. What did you think about it overall?
I gotta agree with you, bro. This was a great SmackDown to close the year. The best part was Charlotte's return. If we being honest, Charlotte stole the entire show. SmackDown seems to be going in the right direction again, bro, and I'm happy to see it. Hopefully we see more John Cena this year. I want to see him get number 17 for sure.
And that's been another episode of Wrestling with Xotics, and this is Think I Need to Feed You Water.
And it's your boy, the franchise kid, Franchise Jerry.
Y'all know what the fuck going on. Like, comment, and subscribe.
And share this shit with the motherfucking world. We really appreciate y'all for watching, man. Make sure you guys also turn on your post notifications so that way you can be tapped in on all the new episodes. You heard me? This has been another episode of the world's greatest podcast on YouTube right now. Wrestling with Xotics, man. Peace out.